Welcome to another episode of Kraken's Garage. I'm your host, Eric. Today we're going to talk about the Harley-Davidson Wide Glide. I went to take it for a ride this weekend, and let me show you what happened. Dead battery. Yay. So this video kind of got pushed up to the forefront of what I had planned for the Benelli on the oil change. So apologies to my TNT peeps on not getting that one done right in time. So we're going to replace the battery on the Harley-Davidson Wide Glide. I'm going to show you how to do it, the do's and don'ts, and what to look out for. Let's get to it. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen from what the Harley-Davidson model Dyna model service manual says. And basically it says disconnect the negative battery cable first. If positive cable should contact the ground with negative cable connected, the resulting sparks can cause a battery explosion which could result in death or serious injury. We'll see about that. First thing we're going to do is remove the rear seat. Now this bolt back here is a trim piece, and I put it on with blue Loctite because it kept vibrating out and I'd lose it going down the road. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it removed. So what I do is I take an old piece of leather from that I cut out of an old pair of work gloves, and I wrap it around the fragile part of the finishing of the bolt, and use your pliers and grip it using the leather, and it'll break right free without scarring up your bike or the bolt. Cool tip that's worked for me for many years. And there goes the washer. As always, I'm dropping bolts. Push it forward and slide off the rear pinion seat. And we have a Torx head to get this removed. This takes a T40 Torx bit, so let's pop that off real quick. Then with a little luck, our seat will lift right off. Excellent. The battery's housed in this casing right here, and you can see just the corner of it right here. So we have to remove a couple of items to break this battery free, and we're going to show you how to do it. Okay, on the actual battery cover, there's a fastener located with a screw right there, and that's where, hopefully you can see it, we're going to get in there. You can see I got some corrosion happening on the tab on that as well. We're going to address that as well. Okay, we're going to pivot the cover, hopefully, outwards and lift it up, and she should pop right off. Beautiful. You can see I have my power adapter that I use to keep it on a trickle charger at all times. Next, we'll unhook this battery strap. Can be a bit of a rascal. Next, we need to unhook the connectors to the battery. Your black is your negative, and of course your red is your positive. Per the manual, take off the negative first, or you run the risk of sparking and having a battery explosion, which could cause serious damage to your bike, yourself, and also loss of life. I guess I should have followed the directions. Do the negative first. Don't do what I did. Okay, now that we got that mishap out of the way, let's do it properly this time. If you don't use a screwdriver, I believe these bolts on the batteries are 10 millimeter. Be sure you save the core of the battery, because when you go to buy a new battery, normally you get a credit towards your purchase of your new battery by bringing in the old one. They recycle them. That's looking pretty good. Let's see if we can slide that bad boy out. It can be stubborn, that's for sure. There we go. You can see all the debris in here, basically from riding in the rain and whatnot. So we're gonna get that all cleaned up before we install the new battery. I'm not gonna have time today to go pick up the new battery, so I'll pick it up tomorrow morning and we'll finish up this video tomorrow. Okay, back from the store picking up the battery. Use an all-purpose cleaner or something along the lines of Simple Green. We'll clean this up real quick. Before we install the battery, what you want to do is clean up the electrical contacts for the battery. Wire brush them real good, inside and out. Get them nice and clean. Then put on some dielectric grease. They make other battery terminal solutions to put on your battery terminal. That's just what I have in the garage, so it'll do for now. Next, we're going to slide our new battery in. I did go with an HD branded battery. Why did I do that? We'll talk about that at the end of this video. And make sure you understand which is your negative and which is your positive. Connect your strap so she's held in there good and tight. Same thing for your battery charging terminal that we're going to put on there. Make sure you wire brush and get them clean as well. Put your positive on first, because if it touches something and grounds out, that's where you have problems. We'll just lightly tighten it there for now. And let's do the same for the other side. Make sure you don't over tighten these bolts. The manufacturer states 6.8 to 7.9 Newton meters or 60 to 70 inch-pounds torque. Let's get these torqued down. Be careful tightening the positive. If your wrench touches anything metal on the bike, it's going to get exciting. We talked about the bottom here where there's some corrosion happening on my battery cover plate. Let's address that. What we're going to do is spray on some ACF 50. I'll put a link to this stuff down below. It's absolutely amazing. Stops rust in its tracks and corrosion. Johnny on the spot. Okay, let's get this positive cover cinched down over top of it and kind of thread the excess wires and figure out how we want this to pop out on the side of the bike. Now there's two hooks up here on the top that this hooks on, so you kind of stuff the excess wire up inside. And let's get that screw in. I should note that this screw is in a really bad spot, so if you drop it, it drops down inside here and you're gonna need a magnet or something to get it out. It's a pain in the neck, so just be aware of that. Okay, let's put her back together. There's a small cover here we need to reinstall real quick. And that hinges on this side and then snaps in, and that's it. Before we reinstall the seats, you can take a look. There's a lot of filth and grime and grit in here that has gotten up underneath the seat. Now it's time to get up in there and clean it up real quick before you seal her up. Use a microfiber cloth and a clean one and get that stuff up. The spray I'm using is a deatil wax called S100, and again, I'll link it down below if you're interested in trying to use this. A little goes a long ways, so a bottle lasts you a really long time. And buffer up to a good shine. Get a nice protective coat underneath that seat, and do the same up here in this area surrounding the frame that the seat rests on. That's looking pretty good. Let's slide that seat on, line that up properly. Metal collar. Get your Torx head with your T40. Cinch her down. Next is the pinion seat for the passenger. You have this keyhole here that goes over that Torx bolt. Slide it on, pull your strap up over. Same method for tightening it back up as we took it off to get a good firm cinch down of this pinion seat bolt. Wrap our leather around it, get a good grip on it, and really tighten that sucker down. So that brings this video to an end. We've installed a new battery. First of all, why did I go with OEM Harley when I could buy cheaper at Napa or the Battery Mart or things like that? Especially now during these trying times with COVID happening globally, try to spend your money with your local merchants. Yeah, I can order it on Amazon and have it on my doorstep in 3 days for cheaper. But I need those stores to stay in business. They need to stay in business. They need to eat and pay their bills as well. Do them a favor, do yourself a favor, and try to spend your money locally. Just my humble advice. The battery was $130. I checked at Battery Mart. It was gonna run $119. And if you go with off-brand Chinese brands on like Amazon, you can get them with the proper cranking output that you need for the big V-twin. It's gonna run you about 70, 80 bucks. I paid the 130. If I have any problems, it has a warranty when I'm on the road. I just stop at my local Harley shop and it gets handled. So, little peace of mind for me, so it was worth the extra coin to me to spend with the local merchant and to go with OEM. So I have the security when I'm on the road and if I have any problems. Hope that makes sense to you. With the joke I made about the exploding battery that I kind of did the memes there, honestly, take it seriously. It's no joke. The gases inside those batteries can explode and can get ignited from the sparks of coming off the battery. So just bear in mind when you're messing with batteries, it is no joke. Also, I went with a regular gel sealed battery. I normally get on a battery tender, and we'll talk about battery tenders in another video and why I use and what I use. I normally get about 5 to 6 years service out of a battery. If I don't use a battery tender religiously, I'm replacing a battery every 2 years. So I strongly recommend, if you don't have a battery tender, get yourself one and keep it on the bike and keep it topped off. It really does help. Now, with this next gen of batteries that's out, LiPos, Harley even makes one as well. They're about double the price, well over $200. Yes, they offer cold cranking amps that are just unbelievably off the hook. Yes, they reduce the weight of the battery versus the gel cell, which is quite heavy. Let's be serious, it's a 700-pound bike, so what's the point in saving another couple of pounds with the battery? That's my humble opinion. Now, LiPos require a totally different charger for recharging them and keeping them topped off, something you're not gonna find on the road and you're not gonna wanna carry with you. If they sink down too low, they are non-recoverable. Throw them in the trash or recycle them, because you're gonna have to go buy a new one. Also, when you get in very cold temperatures, and yes, I ride year-round, below 32 degrees freezing. And when I go out to start my bike, a LiPo, sometimes you have to turn on your lights, let them run for a minute, or beep the horn a few times to kind of warm up the battery to get enough juice to start your bike. It's annoying to me. I don't think the technology is there for a motorcycle at this time. Probably is on the horizon. This is Kraken's opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. With that said, I'll put a link down to all the tools I use, all the items that I used in this. As you know, or I've tried to let people know, is I'm an Amazon associate, and if you click on those links and you buy any of those products, I get a small change, a couple of coins off of the sale that go towards Kraken's garage. I needed to be totally upfront and honest so that you know that up front. That's up to you if you want to use those items, but I appreciate you if you do. One other item I wanted to point out, mostly on the baggers, when you're swapping out the battery, not on my Dyna, you have to remove the master fuse first before you install the battery. If you don't, it jacks up their HD MoCo alarm system in a big way. It's a totally different process. Most people don't know about it. I wish this bike had it so that I could get that news out there to people. But pay attention to your owner's manual and your service manual. Depending on your specific bike needs, they are different. And here we go again. As you know, Kraken's garage is haunted. The ghost dogs are here to tell you that if you like this video, give it a tentacles up. If you didn't like it, give it a tentacles down. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe with your tentacle down there in the corner, and I'll see you in the next one. Get ready for my twin brother, Elwood, to come in and give the outro. And remember, folks, go ride when you can, because it's good for ya.